Before we jump into this video, I want to share with y'all something that I've kind of been passionate about recently and I've been really getting into. It's this whole idea of voice acting. If you guys didn't know, I recently, about a month or two ago, started a voice acting channel, and I've started working on voice acting. I started putting out for auditions and doing all this type of stuff. And I've been doing voice acting challenges about every day and doing different skits and things like that. So if you guys want to see a little bit more of my funnier content, more light content that's not as serious as this channel, I want you to go over there to Baba P Voices, and I just want you to give us some love, subscribe. Well, here's actually what I want you to do. I want you to watch some of the videos. If you like the videos, find them interesting, then subscribe. I don't want you to just subscribe because you know me or whatever. I want you to subscribe because you actually find it interesting, because I think that that's going to be really cool. All right. All that being said, we're going to get right into the video. Hey guys, I know it's been a while since you guys have seen me. I know I haven't really posted in a while, but I just wanted to be able to talk to you guys about something really quick. And it's about this whole idea called nuance. I know, nuance is something that's been completely lost in our culture, where you actually have to be extremely on this side or extremely on this side. There is no in the middle. No way. No way. How could you be in the middle? There are people who are pulling people who look different than them outside of cars and beating them and taking them to detention facilities, and then figuring out a little bit later that, oh, they actually are legal citizens here. That's one side. But then the other side is we got people that are going over to people's houses and beating them up and trying to kill them because they disagree with them politically, or because of all of these other things. And we can find so many different reasons why this person is this and this person is that. But the truth is that the truth is in the middle, and it's not in the extremes. And you don't have to be fully for this person to be fully against that person. You don't have to be fully against that person to be fully for this person. You can be able to find something in the middle where you say, I might disagree with this take on this person. I might not exactly even like this person, but just because somebody has some agreements with this person doesn't mean that they agree with everything that this person believes. That is nuance. Nuance says that I don't have to fully agree with you and so that I can be able to be a part of your team. I don't have to fully agree with you in order for us to be friends. That's nuance. I think what I would say is probably the first time that I started seeing nuance being lost is actually the first time that Donald Trump was up for election. The first time that Donald Trump was up for election, it was between him and Hillary Clinton. And then there were just two completely different views, where it was either if you're completely for Hillary Clinton, you hate babies, you hate life, you hate Christianity, you hate faith. Or if you voted for Donald Trump, then you hate immigrants, you hate these people, you hate those people, you're phobic of this, phobic of that, and all this type of stuff. That was the paradigm that started then, where people would start posting some crazy stuff about how Hillary is a demon that eats babies, and Donald Trump is Hitler, and all these other things. That this is what started, and I would say it started about then. I know that there was stuff that people said about Barack Obama. Trust me, I wasn't able to vote yet, but I was definitely seeing that happen. I was seeing people say racist things towards Obama, just for trying to run for president. I didn't see as much hateful stuff against Mitt Romney or even John McCain, but I definitely saw a lot of stuff against Obama, and a lot of it was the racially coded stuff, where it was you were definitely trying to say something about him because of his race, whether you want to agree with it or not. But then we see the resurgence and kind of the real rise of it the first time Donald Trump is getting voted in. Then by the second time that Donald Trump was being elected on, that was when it started to get really nasty. That was when people started to be able to start making up stories and making up things to happen. Then this third time that he's in the election, then it got even worse, because now we're in the rise of AI, we're in the rise of all these other things where you can be able to find false news statements, where you can be able to find false quotes, where you can be able to find things out of context, and where people can be able to be quote unquote canceled for the way that they believe. This is nonsense. Oh, and then, man, I feel like where it got even worse and where I really saw the tide turn for the worst, I should add, is when Charlie Kirk got ended, like when his life got ended. I have to put it that way because, YouTube is kind of weird with their censors and stuff like that. But when Charlie Kirk was taken out, oh my gosh, this caused some issues. I posted something about it on my Facebook. And what I just posted on my Facebook was not that I was fully for him, because I'm not. Not that I was fully against him, because I'm not. But because I just said this, I said we shouldn't be celebrating when somebody gets taken out because of their beliefs. That's what I said. Then, of course, the influx of comments comes in. He should have been taken out because of the things that he said that were against my community. He should have been taken out because of the things that he said against my friend's community. He should have been taken out because he has violent rhetoric and he caused violence by the way that he spoke. This is a problem. This is a problem when we can say that people are inciting violence because of them speaking about something that they agree with or disagree with. I don't like that. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that mindset. I believe that somebody can say something that is really wrong, which, let me just put this out there. Sometimes Charlie Kirk was really wrong. Sometimes he was wrong with his ideas. Sometimes he was just wrong with how he said certain things and the mindset that he said certain things, right? Some of the things that he said and did were wrong. But does that mean that he is inciting violence? I disagree with that. And because I disagree with that notion, I literally had probably more than just one, but I know I at least had one person that completely unfriended me and actually blocked me for a little bit. And I wasn't even like I was gonna like message her or anything about this because there was no point to. But like someone that I had known for years unfriended me because she said, you know what? I used to have respect for you, but obviously, if this is the way that you view things, then I don't know if I can even respect you as a person anymore. What? Because I said, I don't think that people should be, I don't think people should be killed for their beliefs. Because I said that he didn't incite violence, even if he said things that I don't agree with, even if he said things that are kind of ironic considering the way he got taken out, whatever else. Oh, because I said that, that means that I fully agreed with him and that I believe that we should hate as many people as we possibly can and that we should go out there and we should treat people terribly. I mean, what do you do with that? There's no explanation to be able to help people understand how wrong that is. But I think that's because nuance is gone. Where it's either you have to be fully for somebody or fully against somebody. Oh, wow. And then on the other side, there were people that were going real crazy for Charlie, acting like he was the second coming of Jesus and that he did no wrong and that, he's always said right. And you know what? We should celebrate his birthday and we should have a statue up in the park and we should do all this stuff for him because he is such a great guy and all that. I think that is a little bit extreme too. I think you can feel bad that he got taken out the way he did. I feel like you can pray for his family and say, look, that's terrible or whatever. I think you even have the ability to agree with a lot of the things you said or some of the things you said, whatever. Like, I believe that you can do that. But what I don't agree with is making people feel like they all have to have the same idea about him that you did. I do not believe that everybody needs to be like, oh man, I thought he was the greatest guy ever. Because truthfully, I don't think he was the greatest guy ever. I don't think he was the most positively influential person that he could have been. I do believe that there were times that he misstepped in the way that he spoke about things. But I believe part of that was that he, and I know people are going to take this bad, but I don't mean this in a bad way. He just knew what it took for have people click on his videos. Now, I think when you heard him in long form, a lot of the times he had some very sensible takes, but he would often say something that he could be clipped up into a soundbite so that people can be able to kind of come to it and kind of rage watch something. And, I don't know if all of it was intentional, but I do believe that there was some of that aspect of, well, this is how I get engagement in this video. This is how I get engagement in this thing. But all that being said, I still don't think he deserved to be taken out. And I still don't think that means that he incited violence. I think that the word inciting violence has got to have a meaning to it. And when we start putting it on everything, on every person who disagrees with us, it starts to mean nothing. It's even like the word racist. Man, racist should mean something. And racist literally means somebody who thinks that they are better because of the color of their skin, because of their origin, because of their race. That is what it should mean, right? It's people like this guy named Nick Fuentes. If y'all don't know about him, good on you. But if you do know about him, that dude is actually racist. He legitimately believes that black people are a standard deviation lower in intelligence, and that basically, like, he has said multiple times that, don't you think that if they were all put in jail, that our lives would be a little bit better? That's racism. Some of the things that I heard, like, Kirk say were maybe insensitive, maybe ignorant, but I wouldn't go fully to say racism. And I think that these words need to have meanings, and I think that there can be nuance, okay? I would have never, when he was alive, I would have never invited like Charlie Kirk to like an event at my church or something like that and have him speak. I wouldn't have had him do that. Even though he said some good things about Jesus, even though he has some beliefs that like are in line with our faith, I wouldn't have invited him because also he can be able to be a little bit divisive with some of how he talks about things. I will say that, like, and I think that there's nuance to that, but I don't think that means he is the worst person ever. He's a terrible person. Like, what? Like, I just think that, like, we've got to live in the world of nuance, and that is the main thing of this video. And like I said, it's been a while since I've done a video, but man, I wanted to talk about this because this is a wild world that we live in, where I can be able to sit there and say, and I've seen a lot of people say, if you voted for this person, delete me off of my friends list. If you voted for this person, I don't want to hear anything from you. If you voted for this person, you hate me. Come on. We've got to be better than that. We've got to be more intelligent than that. Or we can say, oh man, I disagree with that person. I don't really like the way that they talk about things. But, just because somebody voted for them doesn't mean that they hate me. Maybe they just thought out of the two choices that this person was better. Maybe they were right there in the polling place and they were just sitting there wondering, like, man, I don't know. And then they ended up reluctantly voting one way or the other. You don't know that. You don't know what people consider the most important things. That's part of the problem that I have with our two-party system, is that we basically tell people that, well, no, just choose the person that's the best out of the two, even if both of the choices are bad choices. I will go on record saying that I do not believe in the past three elections, I'll say. Past three elections. I'm trying to make sure I had it right. The past three elections, I don't think we've had a good choice for either side. I just don't think we have. I don't think Donald Trump versus Hillary, I don't think that I had a good choice there. I don't think with Donald Trump versus Biden, I had a good choice there. I don't think Donald Trump versus Kamala, I don't think I had a good choice there. I think we had just bad choices all around. And, and so my heart goes out to people that say, well, I know we didn't have the best choice, but I felt like I needed to do my civic duty and vote for somebody. Now, to me, I think that we've got to create a better system where people don't feel like that, where people feel like there are multiple options, so we actually get the best options for president. But that's just not how it is. That's just not how our two-party system works. We will always get, sadly, just two people that the party wants you to care about, whether they're good, whether they're bad, whether they're the best choice or whether they're the worst choice. We're just going to have them. We just got to deal with it. Hate that that's the way that the world is, but it's the truth. And that's where we're at now. So look, you voted for Trump, and you can still stay my friend, and I can still love you, and I can still care about you, and I can still believe the best in you. I don't have to believe that you're phobic of all these different things, because that's not the type of mindset that I run with. And I don't believe that if you voted for Kamala, that means that you hate reason and hate truth and hate all these other things and blah, blah, blah. I understand that there's nuance. I understand that you could have voted for her because you felt like she at least spoke a little bit kindly. Spoke a little bit kinder. That she carried herself in a more respectful way. Whatever it may be. You know what? And I don't actually need to ask why you voted for so and so. I don't need to ask you who you voted for in general. All I need to do is see how you act as a person. Do you act like a decent person, or do you act like a butt? Because if you act like a butt, then you act like a butt. Don't matter who you voted for. That is the mindset that I run with. I don't know. Not everybody runs with that. Some people literally, you're probably even going to see on your newsfeed right now, are still saying, hey, if you voted for this administration, just go ahead and unfriend me. Or if you don't agree with me and side with this side or whatever on this issue, then just go ahead and unfriend me. Nah, I can't live that way. I just can't. Nuance means that you can be able to see that there are multiple sides to the story, and there are multiple degrees, like in each side, like multiple degrees to the right that you can be, multiple degrees to the left. There are some people that I know that are very, very Republican. There are some people that I know that are very, very Democrat. There are some people that I know that are somewhere in the middle, but lean to one side or the other. And all of you guys, guess what? Guess what we all have in common? We're all humans. I believe that we were all made in the image of God. Even if we disagree, even if you don't have the same beliefs as me, even if you voted one way or the other way, guess what? You're still human. I still love you. I still care about you. And my calling in life is always to serve, no matter who they are, no matter what they believe, even if we disagree. All right, that's the video for today. See y'all.